Hello. So in this slide, we're talking about identity and diversity and differences and similarities. And what I wanted to just briefly talk to you about is ask you, did you talk to anyone about your identities? Anything, how you identify? What are some similarities? What are some differences? Did you talk about that with someone? Did you talk about it with your teacher? So I wanted to share and kind of show you how to talk about my identities. So I have lots of identities, and I have a math identity too. Let me talk first about my math identity. I used to hate math. Oh, I used to hate it. I used to cry every night doing my math. It was okay the big first couple years, but it just frustrated me because I don't know. It was, well, one way we did math only one different way. We didn't have different ways to do it. So I didn't like math, and I didn't think I was a math person. Then when I became a teacher, I thought, oh boy, I gotta like math. And I do now. And one of the ways that I liked it was, and I changed my math identity from someone who didn't like math into someone who really likes math. I got my dog Hildy, and she's this little tiny doggy. And when I practiced my math, my strategy to calm down and change my mindset from not liking math to liking math, I pet Hildy while I did my math. And it helped. It helped calm me down. And once I calmed down doing my math, and using the strategy to hug Hildy, once I calmed down, I realized that math is kind of cool because the problems, it's okay to have problems. It's what the fun part in math is working through it. And yeah, it's okay to get stuff wrong, and you talk about math with other people. That's part of the journey. It's part of the process. Just like reading, when you learn to read, you're going to make lots of mistakes. But the cool thing is, with math, those mistakes keep going. Now you might be thinking to yourself, I don't want to keep making mistakes. Well, I taught myself to learn to love the mistakes. And so that's how I changed my math identity from not liking math to liking math. Now I see it's like a puzzle. A couple of my other identities, I am a plant lover. I love plants. Now, I didn't used to like plants. They used to kind of just gross me out with all the bugs in the dirt. But I met someone who really liked plants, and I learned a lot from them. And now I decorate my house with plants. I think I have 15 plants in my house. And I have lots of plants in my classroom. I have paintings of plants. I have watercolors of plants that different friends of mine, like that picture over there was done by my great aunt Nona. And the watercolor was done by the partner of a mentor that I used to have. And so I just love plants. That's one of my identities. And I have a vegetable garden. It doesn't always grow the most vegetables, but I like playing with the vegetables. So that's another identity that I changed. Here's another identity. Now you might be thinking, oatmeal? What's your identity with oatmeal? Well, Quakers. So Mary G. Wells, and I'll talk about the Quakers in a second. Mary G. Wells was Native American, and she was also a woman, and she was also an engineer. And we can't assume that we know how Mary might have identified, but we have a pretty good guess that it would have been Native American, female, and as an engineer, and someone who likes math, okay? And in the first video in the unit, you learned that some identities change and some identities don't as you grow older. So, Quaker. It's a religion, Quaker. Now, I am a 13th generation Quaker. That's a lot of generations, hundreds of years of Quakers. Now, the people that made the oatmeal, they decided that people like Quakers. Look how nice he looks. Oh, that's so nice. So a lot of food people put Quakers on top of their food for whatever reason. So when you see Quaker oatmeal, think of me, because that's one of my identities. It's my family, all Quakers, and I come from a long line of Quakers, and Quakers do things a little bit differently than other people. We're really quiet. Well, I'm not quiet now, but we usually are pretty quiet, and some Quakers don't listen to music, and some Quakers don't sing. Of course, other Quakers do. Some Quakers, well, they sit in a room and they close their eyes and think. So that's a religious identity. So, did you talk with someone about your identities? And did you talk with someone about your math identities? Okay. Talk with your teacher, talk with your friends, talk with your family, and especially let's focus on the math identity, because I think math identity is one of your identities that you can actually change, especially if you think, I'm not a math person. I think everybody can be a math person. In the next slide, there's going to be a video that is pretty cool to watch about math identity. Okay, so talk.